Yes.
The regulatory reviews are selected because you've got one that you did in agricultural chemicals, and you've got a clear connection with the agricultural sector through lobby groups there and through your own members, and then another one's ECE. You've got a clear connection to a one-time funder of the ACT Party and certainly supporter of right-wing narratives, right, in the Right Family Foundation. So there's a real concern that it looks like there's an appearance of regulatory reviews being chosen to benefit parties connected politically, right? How can we have confidence that the decisions are not politically influenced and are made entirely on the basis of where best wins and values for New Zealanders are?
Well, first of all, the idea that I've got a clear connection. I'm the most urban MP in New Zealand. My main interaction with the dairy industry is probably through a flat white. And when I go and visit...
Well, one of your members is chair of Federated Farmers.
When I go and visit farm animals, it's usually the sheep in Cornwall Park. So the idea that I've got some sort of clear connection, I've got no more or less connection with rural New Zealand than anyone else. Now, you're right. I represent a party that has very good policies for rural New Zealand and is very popular with New Zealand, rural New Zealand. That is true, and I'm sure that that hasn't escaped your attention. But frankly, the suggestion that I have any kind of conflict is completely improper. Secondly, the idea that we decided to do a review of the early childhood sector because someone may or may not, I'm not even sure, have donated to the ACT Party a long time ago is frankly fatuous. And well, I'll tell you why we did do a sector review into early childhood, because it's a large and economically significant sector, because it's a sector.
How can New Zealanders be confident that the sector reviews are chosen on the basis of best value for New Zealanders and not for political wins? Now, what I put to you is that you should have no part to play, that there should be no collaboration, and that should be a decision entirely within the ministry, because that's where you've got the expertise built up. And for you to then go and cherry pick, and I mean, is it the case that the agricultural chemical reviews was suggested by you?
So actually the agriculture and chemical was actually suggested initially by us, because the primary industry, us as the Ministry for Regulation, I mean, primary industries is basically the backbone of New Zealand's trade. So it was one of the first areas that we looked at. So we actually brought it to the Minister first.
Well, okay, and thank you for that contribution. I guess then perhaps you could explain to us within the ministry how this process happens, because I am concerned. And if you could go through and I've seen your list of considerations, but what I want to hear is that there is no risk of political interference in the selection of review areas.
Okay, let the Minister respond.
Yeah, I think first of all, we really have to address this. The suggestion that there is some sort of improper interest is completely wrong. It's unparliamentary for the member to suggest it.
It's entirely within orders for me to talk about influence.
No, it's not. If you are suggesting that there's an improper influence in decision making, that is unparliamentary. The member's been a member of Parliament for a long time. He should have read the standing orders. But I can be absolutely clear that there is a very robust process for choosing sector reviews. In this instance, as we've just heard, this suggestion was from the ministry itself. And when it comes to the idea that an elected minister should not be involved in decision making in government, well, that is just undemocratic. Of course, people have a right to be elected to Parliament, to become ministers and to make decisions. And it's not actually their right, it's the right of the New Zealand people to elect us to do so. If you seriously believe that that whole process doesn't work and that we should be governed by the unelected, then there's a few countries that you might find more comfortable. I won't name them now, but I'm sure you can guess.
Okay, we're going to go to Dan Bidwell.
Hey, thank you, Mr.
Hold on. What is he trying to? Is he trying to sit there and try to go? Well, if you don't like elected people making decisions, you could always go to a dictatorship country where unelected people sit there and rule you, like North Korea or something, or maybe the United States of America at the moment.
Well, yeah. I mean, let me be blunt about this, right? This is a guy who has no experience in the rural sector, okay? I don't want to be governed by him. There you go. I'm a libertarian. I live in a rural community. I don't want to be governed by David Seymour's ideas of how a rural community should be run and operated. I strongly disagree with him. I've worked in forestry, right? Forestry is one of the most dangerous sectors in New Zealand, and you got dumbass Brooke Van Belden making it worse. Māori workers in that sector, okay, they haven't picked up a chainsaw before. He's probably twerked in front of forestry workers. I don't know what the fuck David Seymour gets up to in his spare time, but you know, it's like he doesn't have any experience in the industry. He fails to regularly consult different authorities that work in sectors, right? He doesn't consult iwi and hapu. We know that he's got a record of not consulting groups of people or people who specialize in different sectors. You know, I don't want him governing me. Simple.
Yeah. I mean, he said his closest interaction with the rural sector was a flat white.
I know.
Yeah,
I have more experience. I have more experience, and I'm a fucking vegan.
Yes, and I have more experience, and what do you call it? I wouldn't sit there and say, I mean, I lived rural for 3.5 years. I know how things work, but I wouldn't say I'm that. I wouldn't call myself an expert, and I'm more qualified than David Seymour. I mean, I probably know more about organics from Chris Jury's farm up in Tikanagi Waitra.
I have farm. I live next. Okay, I own farm animals. Okay, I got a ram that lives next door to me. I feed him lots of sheep nuts at this time of year. But I've got pet chickens. I've grown up on a farm as a kid.
You got a pet possum.
I've got a pet possum. That's how rural I am, right?
Yeah.
Like David
Morty.
Seymour doesn't know what he's talking. Yeah, Morty. David Seymour has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to rural issues, and he shouldn't be trying to even represent rural issues. I'm surprised that farmers vote for him. Why?
Yeah.
I think they vote for the guy called Mark Cameron.
Yeah. Well,
Andrew Hoggart.
The real issue here is that Duncan is asking serious questions about corruption and kickbacks and influence, and David Seymour is doing the unconvincing, there's nothing to see here. This is serious. These are the people who are being given access and influence beyond, simply because they have dollars.
Is he seriously suggesting that the select committee process is a process where unelected people can give their feedback and that's undemocratic and wrong?
It sounds that way.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
No,
Well, we know that he thinks that 99.5% of submissions for his regulatory standards bill were written by fucking bots.
No, it's David Seymour's distraction tactic because Duncan Webb is close to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, I'm concerned that he seemed to be conflating raising fucking farm animals, livestock, with raising children.
Probably couldn't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at David Seymour's potential conflicts of interest. I don't know if anyone saw what I posted in the chat. Everyone should read that. Beneficial interests and trustees of trusts, right? He's got the Seymour Family Trust beneficiary. He's got the Beachcomber Trust. He's got the Ferreri Trust, whatever the hell that is. Real properties, got multiple properties that he owns.
Someone who had no properties when he entered Parliament.
Yeah, well, whoa, holy crap. Look at all the gifts he's received. All Blacks and Wallabies tickets from the Eden Park Trust Board. 1 New Zealand Warriors Tiger tickets from Waterstone. Property Council Awards dinner from the Property Council. You don't think that's a conflict of interest right there? Hot Lap, Super Sprint Motorsport Championships.
Anything from a union?
Tickets.
Anything from a union?
No, nothing from a union.
Not even the taxpayers' union?
No.
See,
Not
even
even
the
from a trade
unions want
union.
nothing to fucking do with him. What did that
Yeah.
tell you? Right, but I'm going to force you all to enjoy the next part of this while I go and do my cat's dinner and do their insulin. So you guys enjoy this and I'll be back.